Hi, this is Joseph Zerbo. I'm doing a presentation on Google Sheets, which is the Google's version of Microsoft Excel, which many people are familiar with. Starting off, the two programs are very, very similar. Slight differences from what I've noticed, and a couple of better things right off the bat. So, starting off, if you're in My Drive, we go to New, Google Sheets, open up a sheet. I already have one started. I kind of put some information. When you first open it up, you'll see blank spreadsheet. It'll be labeled Sheet 1. There won't be any other tabs over here. You add the tabs by pressing the plus sign. Each time you press it, you'll get a new sheet. You can rename them by right-clicking, go up to rename, and title it. So what I'm going to do is how I create my gradebook. So this first sheet I don't need anymore. I'm just going to get rid of that. But this is how it starts out looking. And you can add names, writing, typing, all sorts of different data via the keyboard and the toolbar up above. So moving on. So I created a small class list. My first tab I typically use is the student average tab. Just going to delete that one. All right, so I have the student average tab. I'm going to calculate this one last because I'm going to show you how I compose everything else and then put all the information together. So my next tab is a homework tab. So I did homeworks based off of 25-point increments. So the assignment can be worth up to 100 points, half done, 50%, partially done, maybe 25 or 0 or 75, depending on how you like to do your grades. So it created a basic grid, highlighted a path here, however many blocks I wanted to use. I put a border on by clicking in the toolbar where the box and the grid are. It gives you different options. This one puts a grid around everything. So I just put in, for the assignment, the date, wrapped in whoever did the assignment, kind of just made up a whole thing here. Average is calculated automatically. You just write in a formula. I'm going to show you how to do that on the next slide. You can see that if I remove a grade, the average changed. So it's now not counting this as a part of it since there's no value in the cell. If I put a value back in the cell, it'll readjust the average. This also works like, say, a kid was absent and you just wanted to put an A in there. Well, now, instead of counting it as a 0, it just doesn't count that as a numerical value, and it just takes the average of the values you have. If they don't make up the assignment and you later change it to a 0, then it calculates the 0. Or if they make it up and you change it into a 100. Either way, it works. Okay. So how do we write an average formula? So I'll go over to my test column. So we got test grades for Bob, Jane, Jen, John, Liz, Mary, Mike. These are their test grades. Now I left a column afterwards in case I want to add things later. It just makes it a little bit easier. So I go to the average column that I've created over here in column F. And right from there, start off, you press equals, and that's going to initiate a formula of some sort. In this case, we want to do average. Average is a basic command that the program knows. So if you just start typing the word average, and this will happen with a lot of different formulas I've found. If you know the basic name of it and you start typing it in, it generally pops up. So I click average, and now you'll see how we have an open parentheses. It's looking for values to put in. So I'm going to highlight the cells where I want to take the average from. In this case, from B6 over to E6. So I'm all set. I'm going to close the parentheses, press enter, and now what it's doing, again, it's calculating the average of those 3 grades. If I was to put a 4th grade in, I could, and it would adjust the average accordingly. But I'm going to leave it empty for now. So now we don't want to have to write this every time we do, for each student on our roster, especially if we have 30 kids in there. So what we do is we're going to copy and paste the formula. We're not copying and pasting this value of 90.67. You're copying the formula that is written up here. If you see the formula line, the function line. So all you right-click, copy, and then you highlight down below. Right-click again, hit paste, and what it does is it transfers that formula down and adjusts it for each row. Since we had gone across with the initial one, it'll adjust the numbers down